Everyone keeps asking when SB19 will break into the West, but that question is already irrelevant, because GENTO didn't chase Western approval, it shattered the framework entirely. No Grammy push, no US radio machine, no watered-down sound for global comfort, just raw Filipino identity, fearless confidence, and a worldwide reaction no gatekeeper could stop. This wasn't a crossover, it was a power shift, proving that global success no longer needs Western permission to be real, loud, or dominant. If you're still measuring SB19 by Western validation, you're already behind. The culture has moved, the rules have changed, and GENTO is the proof. Like, share, and subscribe, because what this movement does next will rewrite how the world defines success. For decades, Asian artists were measured by Western scorecards, Grammys as legitimacy, Billboard as relevance, US radio as the gatekeeper of global success, a system that quietly trained creators to seek permission instead of power. But that era is collapsing in real time, because the global audience has already moved on. SB19 didn't wait to be validated, didn't dilute their culture, and didn't ask for entry. They arrived on their own terms and forced the world to look anyway. This isn't about breaking into a system anymore, it's about outgrowing it. And the shift happening now proves one thing: global success no longer belongs to whoever controls the gate, it belongs to whoever commands attention. GENTO wasn't designed to slide into Western playlists, it was built to stand its ground. No imported producer blueprint, no softened sound, no lyrical pivot for English-speaking comfort, just raw Filipino identity delivered with intensity, confrontation, and zero compromise. That choice was risky, because global systems usually ignore what doesn't cater, but SB19 understood the real rule: authenticity creates gravity. GENTO doesn't treat Filipino culture as a decorative layer or a marketing angle, it's the foundation. The sound hits hard, the language stands firm, the attitude refuses submission. This isn't talent chasing validation, it's confidence demanding attention. GENTO didn't ask permission to exist globally, it arrived complete, confident, and impossible to overlook. This isn't music asking the West to understand it, it's music demanding respect on its own terms. GENTO speaks directly to struggle, ambition, and earned power, resonating with people who know what it means to grind without shortcuts or privilege. That's where authenticity crushes imitation. Artists who bend toward Western trends may gain quick visibility, but they lose lasting loyalty. SB19 chose the harder path: no dilution, no translation for comfort, just truth at full volume, and trusted that real identity carries its own scale. GENTO didn't rise because a label pushed it, it exploded because people did. In today's era, attention beats industry approval, community beats executives, and cultural pride isn't a limitation, it's an amplifier. Identity leaves a mark. Imitation fades. GENTO didn't spread because a system approved it, it spread because people felt it. Dance challenges, reaction videos, live performance clips, and raw fan engagement turned audiences into the distribution engine, without US radio play or a Western award campaign in sight. This is the real shift most still miss: global success no longer belongs to gatekeepers, it belongs to resonance. Fans didn't wait for permission to share GENTO, they became the network. Every repost, every choreography cover, every reaction multiplied its reach organically. That kind of influence can't be bought, can't be forced, and can't be replicated by industry budgets. It only happens when something real connects. SB19 didn't bypass the system by accident, they outgrew it. GENTO proves the power shift is already complete. Labels no longer decide what travels, people do. When fans believe, they move faster and louder than any marketing budget ever could. This wasn't a rollout, a push, or a campaign. It was proof. The most revealing moment came after GENTO had already detonated. Western creators didn't introduce it, they reacted to it. Breakdowns, reaction videos, and media coverage followed the numbers, not the other way around, and that order changes everything. SB19 didn't pitch themselves to tastemakers or wait for permission. Global audiences decided first, and Western platforms were forced to acknowledge the momentum. This wasn't a breakthrough moment, it was a response. When the West reacts instead of leads, relevance changes hands, and viewers can feel it. The center of gravity has shifted, quietly, decisively, and for good. SB19 didn't rise by accident, they rose by design. Instead of chasing a Western debut, they built unshakable dominance at home and across Southeast Asia, one of the largest and fastest growing music markets on the planet. That foundation created leverage. When millions of listeners move with you, expansion becomes optional, not desperate. Western validation delivers headlines, regional dominance delivers sustainability. SB19 chose the harder, slower path, investing in identity, fan culture, and consistency over quick approval, and that's why their growth feels inevitable, not manufactured. They aren't chasing moments. They're building an era. GENTO resonated because it spoke a language deeper than sound, it spoke survival. The hunger in its delivery, the grind in its message, the demand for self-worth weren't abstract ideas, they were lived realities felt across borders. Fans didn't just listen, they recognized themselves. That's why GENTO moved like a movement, not a product. It wasn't consumed and forgotten, it was claimed. Emotional loyalty formed instantly, and that kind of connection doesn't fade with trends. Casual listeners come and go, but people who feel seen stay. SB19 didn't collect streams, they built belief. And belief travels farther than any marketing campaign ever could. The streaming era quietly dismantled the old hierarchy. Audiences no longer wait for Western institutions to decide what matters, they decide in real time. Algorithms answer behavior, not prestige, and GENTO thrived because influence is now decentralized. SB19 didn't climb a ladder built by gatekeepers, they expanded a network powered by connection. That reality unsettles systems dependent on approval and control, because when artists succeed without passing through Western filters, authority weakens and relevance shifts hands. This moment matters beyond SB19, it signals a future where success is defined by resonance, not permission. Validation becomes optional when influence is real, and SB19 has already proven it. SB19 didn't just break through, they shifted the blueprint. By succeeding without asking permission, they proved global impact doesn't require cultural compromise. For P-pop and Asian artists, that changes everything. Success isn't about sounding Western or waiting to be chosen, it's about building something rooted, confident, and scalable. GENTO shows that leading with culture creates resonance far beyond borders, turning identity into leverage, not limitation. The door SB19 opened doesn't lead to imitation, it leads to ownership, and once it exists, it can't be closed. They don't reject the West, they just don't depend on it. Respect earned organically, through consistency and connection, outweighs approval chased through compromise. GENTO proves creative independence in an industry built on validation hierarchies. Influence came first, recognition followed, and that order changes everything. This isn't about shutting doors, it's about no longer needing them. When artists control their narrative, audience, and growth, success becomes self-sustaining. SB19 already won, not because they were accepted, but because they were undeniable. So here's the real question, if success no longer needs Western validation, who's really in control now? At the NYE 2026 Countdown event, SB19 delivered a performance that didn't just entertain, it captured attention in a way that made 166,000 attendees and viewers online take notice, sparking a sharp surge in Google searches for the group just hours after the countdown. Moments like this stand out because they break through the usual New Year's Eve noise, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond the stage. This performance matters not just for the immediate buzz, but for how it highlights SB19's growing cultural impact and ability to connect with audiences on a massive scale. New Year's Eve countdown events are already charged with energy long before any artist takes the stage, with attendees bringing a mix of emotions, celebrating past victories, hoping for a better year ahead, or simply wanting to be part of something memorable. There's a unique sense of closure and new beginnings happening simultaneously. Beyond entertainment, these events carry deep symbolism, creating a shared moment where thousands of people count down together, united by the same clock, the same stage, and the fleeting seconds that separate one year from the next. Now imagine that atmosphere amplified across 166,000 people gathered in one place, not just a crowd, but a city-sized audience united by a single purpose, to welcome the new year together. In that sea of faces, you see families, friends, couples, tourists, first-timers, and those simply drawn to the night's energy. This was more than a concert, it was a cultural moment, a snapshot where different generations and backgrounds shared the same experience. Many weren't die-hard SB19 fans, some were casual listeners or first-time viewers. Yet, at that pivotal, emotionally charged moment before midnight, All eyes were on SB19, giving them one of the most important slots of the night, not as background music, but as the centerpiece of the celebration.